2020, can you believe it? And we are on April the 3rd, I think so. It's definitely a Saturday, and that's all we're going to go with at the moment. Yes, this is a knitting, crochet, fibre based podcast, and I am coming to you from Cardiff in Wales in the UK, and we have a very, very sunny Cardiff day today, which is lovely to see, but obviously we are not going out and enjoying the sunshine, which is absolutely right and proper, but we'll come to that a little bit later on. Yes, as I say, knitting, crochet, fibre, some spinning this week as well. With this, with us all being at home, I've had a little bit more time to do that kind of thing other than just the knitting. So I'll talk more about that later also. If you are a new viewer, thank you so much for dropping by, and if you are a returning viewer, as always, thank you so much for coming back. You guys are absolutely keeping me sane with Instagram stories and Ravelry threads and patterns and discussions. We all need some channeling of positive vibes at the moment, and I really appreciate all your messages and posts, etc. Let me know what you're up to. So yes, you can get in touch with me on Instagram as Calon Yarns, on Ravelry as Calon Yarns, everywhere as Calon Yarns. Yeah, if you are in Cardiff and you shout Calon Yarns, I might just appear around the corner, you never know. Anyway, but all those details can be found below there, and please do like and subscribe so that we can find more people in our community and yeah, do some knitting, crochet together. Anyway, before I digress too much, we'll follow the usual format of finished objects, no, not this week, works in progress, and then some plans for the future of knitting projects, and then some general chatter at the end. So having said all that, I hope you're good, I hope you're well, I hope you found half an hour of calm in this otherwise crazy world, and you've got a cuppa and your knitting bag or your crochet bag. Yeah. And so I shall begin. I am wearing, I haven't put on a jumper today actually because it's so sunny. It's quite warm in the house, which is unusual for this house. But yeah, this is a hat by Goodwin Johnson. I'll put the link below. This is about, oh gosh, about 4 or 5 years old now, I think. But it's a really lovely pattern. This is a triangular hat, but you can do full square hats as well. So yeah, it has you do the triangle first, and then you add on the lacy end bit afterwards, and then you come back to your main colour and do these nice little lacy border. Generally, they are this edge bit with the history of hats, as far as I'm aware. This is obviously a garter stitch square or triangle, and then I believe, please correct me if I'm wrong, I would dearly love to know. I have got a book on hats somewhere. Anyway, these colourful bits at the end were traditionally done with just small bits and bobs. So this would be done in a workhorse yarn, and then this little edging bit to add a little bit of life and colour would be strands of leftovers, things like that, little bits of yarn that people could spin and dye up in different colours. So they're traditionally done like that, and obviously you can work through bits of your stash, which is a really great stash buster, because you can do the square or the triangle and then add on these colourful bits at the end with what you've got left tucked away somewhere. But I used, being very ends averse, you know what I'm saying, I used a I think it was a Noro Silk Garden sock, so it had those colours in the yarn anyway. So yeah, it's worked up really well, and I think the main colour, if I can remember, I think it was in Eden Cottage yarns a long time ago, but it's really soft and it's really cosy, and this nice little bit of colour. I think I've got a square bit of the hat somewhere in one of my languishing project bags. I've got a feeling I had a black one that I was going to add some kind of red to the end. I might try and dig that one out and see what shape that's in. Yeah, so I just grabbed this one because I wasn't going to wear a jumper today as it is so warm. A little bit of spring in the air. So check out that pattern, I'll put it down below, and if you've got any info on the haps and the history of haps, then do let me know. I love all that stuff when you kind of do a project that's linked to heritage, home crafts, things like that. I always feel the same if when I'm turning the heel of a sock, if I'm doing a heel flap. Yeah, you kind of think, oh, this has been done for centuries and it's fabulous. Anyway, I digress. I've been doing a lot of good old Zoom meetings this week, so I'm rather dry, rather hoarse, excuse me. Yes, so what else? As you saw in the beginning, I have been making mittens, which I believe is the perfect spring-summer project. I just needed something small to cast on, and so that is what I did, and it is out of the Myers Swedish Mittens, which is a book of gorgeous mitten patterns. If you are, like me, just needing some smaller projects at the moment to feel that end of project joy, mittens are really great. And then I know it's not Christmas, and goodness knows what is going to happen by Christmas, but at least yeah, those smaller projects can hopefully come into some good use towards the end of the year. So I used it's a Let Loppy yarn. Ooh, just happen to have one of these on the table in front of me. Let Loppy, which is the Istex, which is a very rustic, very scratchy yarn, but perfect for things like this because it keeps your fingers super duper warm. Not particularly high contrast with the colours, so you can't really see the pattern. It's like a little spruce pattern, but that's okay. And I think they're coming out a little bit big, so I'm going to felt them. So I've done the thumb there. I'm just on the last little bit. I wasn't sure whether I'd have enough of the red because I only had one ball of the red and one ball of the green. But as it is, I think I can get, I've got this much red left. So I think I can get 2 thumb worths out of it. So just need to finish off the top of the thumb there because my thumb is poking through at the moment. But do you know what I did? I blame cabin fever. I made 2 mittens. Yeah, that's not the fascinating thing. I made 2 right ones. So that's where my thumb will go, obviously. And they're both right ones. Oh, what a plonker. So I did toy with grafting that back up and then snipping and doing an afterthought thumb here, but really, can I be bothered? I think I'll probably go back down. I mean, gosh, it's Aran thickness yarn anyway, so it's not going to take me that long to go back down, rearrange the thumb hole on the other side and come back up. So yeah, I'll probably do that. I'll probably crack on with that sometime today. And then I'm going to shove them in the washing machine and give them a felt. And that's always the scary bit, isn't it? And then have a little stretch out. Hopefully they won't felt too much, but they are a little bit big. I think my fingers come to sort of the top of the colour work there. And nobody in my house has that bigger hands. Although I could, you know, send them to a goalkeeper or something. I don't know. Oh my goodness, losing my mind. Yeah, so I will be doing that today, and it does say right mitten, left mitten very clearly in the pattern, but I chose to ignore that because you know how it is. You're like, yes, I could finish these today, and then you've realised you haven't read it properly. So there we are. That'll be a lesson to me to not kind of rush on. So I will be problem solving that this afternoon. What else have I been doing? I have had some success in my Chauncey Sweater by Isabel Kramer. So it's a really thin, those of you that don't know, I would say light fingering weight. So yeah, it's really quite thin. So this is going to be a long-term project, and I've had a couple of comments on on the messages down below saying, yeah, I've done that. It is a long project. So thank you very much for your support. So I've got past the sleeves. I have divided for the sleeves and started to come down. So this is the yoke, which is really, really pretty. It reminds me of like, are they like little, the Turkish lamps? That sort of thing, little lanterns. So yeah, so I've divided for the sleeves, and then it also has, I doubt whether you can see it, it also has a little bit of a pearl seam going down the side. So just after the marker you do a pearl stitch, which is creating a lovely little seam pattern feature, I guess. So that's very nice. So yes, this is the classic, what I have here, this is the classic Netflix box set sweater, because you're just going round and round and round. Excuse me, I am fine, I am just very dry. I think I had 5 Zoom conferences yesterday, so talking. So yes, that one is going well, and we'll hopefully have some resolution soon. 3.25 needles, if anybody's interested. Should have been 3.5, but I did manage, actually I'm using the higher sharps because the yarn is quite sticky. It's done on the Isagar, the Danish brand Isagar, and I did manage to puncture my finger, puncture a little hole in my finger. Now I've heard people say this before, and it is true, these needles are sharp. I don't know if I can show you, but yeah, they have really got a lovely pointy edge to them. Talk about being correct advertising. They're called higher sharps, and they are indeed sharp. So I've had to have a plaster on the end of my finger for a few days to be able to continue with that one. But yeah, it was really quite nasty. Ow, like, you know, like a little paper cut thing. Anyway, so that one is going well. Details of that below, and I'll put details in my Ravelry notes if you are particularly interested, but I won't bore you with the yarn brands and things if you've been here a few times, but you can find out what I'm using on my Ravelry notes. What else? Spinning, yes, I've had some time for spinning this week, and as I said last week, I was going to try and convert this gorgeous mass of fluff. It's a merino. Is it a top? I guess it's a top. I'm new to spinning, so, but it's definitely merino, and it's got this lovely grey and white combination through it, and it is spinning up into a lovely, come on camera, so there's some really nice combinations in there. You can see the rawness of my spinning. I've got a few kind of curly-whirly bits at the moment, but that's okay. It's all a learning curve. But I've managed to get it really quite thin. It's not been too bad at all. My spinning is, oh, you see, this bit's come off now. That's very thin. But it's getting there slowly. I'm trying to go as thin as I can to create something that hopefully is when it's the 2 strands applied together, it's kind of a 4-ply or maybe a double knit. I think I'm just about getting there. But when you're feeding it through, I don't know if any of you, obviously quite a lot of you probably spin, but if you've ever experienced it, you're trying to let the fibre go and keep to the staple length of the fibre so it doesn't just break off. But I've become very daring. I mean, look at me, how exciting, seeing how thin I can make it before it snaps off. It's like fibre buckaroo, you know, where you dare to eke it out a little bit thinner, and then it just breaks and you've got to kind of start again and join it back on. But I think doing that, seeing how thin I can make it, has given me a sense of, yeah, the parameters that I can work in. I know, crazy, yeah? Just living life on the edge, seeing how thin I can take those fibre threads. So that's been really nice, and that is definitely meditative with the rhythm of the wheel. I've got, what is it, an Ashford Kiwi 3. Yeah, and it's great because the pedals is a double treadle, and they fold up so that you can kind of tuck it away nicely, because with everybody being home, there's not much room in the house anyway, so it means that I can fold it up and just tuck it behind a chair in my bedroom. So then of an afternoon, I can sit up there in my bedroom like Rapunzel and practice my spinning. So I'll probably have a go at that today as well. It is Saturday finally, so I can legitimately not do any work, because a lot of my work obviously is at home at the moment, and yeah, you're sort of always on call, so it's nice to be able to shut down the laptop, turn off the phone and just do this. And it's weird because the children are home. I don't know about you, but I always feel bad about turning my phone off or not having my phone with me, because I'm always concerned that clearly they're going to get into some sort of drama, some sort of life-threatening thing that I will need to save them. As parents, we do that all the time, I think. So I very rarely don't have my phone with me, which is ridiculous. What did our parents do without having that constant possibility of contacting? We didn't even have a phone in the house when I was growing up, so my poor mother. But I guess if you haven't had it, you don't really miss it. So it's bad, isn't it, that we feel like we have to be always contactable. So as soon as the children are home, and my parents are no longer around, or my mum's no longer around, my dad is in France, so he's with my stepmum. She can sort him out, I'm sure. Yeah, I feel like I can actually turn the phone off a little bit, which is great at the weekends. So I will be doing that a little bit later. Anyway, what else? Haven't really made much progress in my mystery KAL, which is being run by Anne Kingstone and Sarah Alderson. It's a mystery KAL. Everybody else is on about week 3. I'm still on week 1, so I'm not giving any spoilers away, I don't think, because I'm doing this little lace edging. I'm getting there slowly. I think I've got about 10 repeats of this to go. It's sort of a leaf pattern. And then I haven't read the next bit yet, so I'm not sure where we go next, but I imagine there's going to be some picking up of stitches. So that's ticking away. In my Kzipknits and puzzle tree yarns, made this beautiful cowboy bag, and I bought this along with a skein of Kzipknits yarn that came as a package when I was in Canada last summer from Wet Coast Wools, and that just seems like forever away. Yeah, look at those lovely cowboys. But yes, that seems like so long ago now. Wish I could go back. Will do one day, I hope. But yes, so that's that. And that really is about it, I think. It'll probably be quite a short episode today. Cracking on with my brioche knitting rather than the buns, but yeah, brioche buns are also quite nice. Yeah, I feel like the days have been full, but I haven't been overly productive. I'm sure you know what I mean. You might be feeling the same at the moment. Things are very odd, aren't they? So on that note, I am probably going to leave all the knitting content there and then just have a chat about my week and what I've been doing. So if you're leaving us there, thank you so much for coming along. I will hopefully catch up with you next week, and if you are staying, yes, how's your week been? Here in the UK we are still on lockdown, although I'm not sure I like that phrase, because we are allowed to go out to get essential shopping. We are allowed to go out once a day for exercise, and for those who need to kind of physically go to work, leave the house to go to work, I mean. But yes, everything is okay. I worry though this weekend, because it's such a sunny weekend, that people are going to be a little foolish and try and head to the parks and have some time out of the house. I completely understand why, but gathering in places is not a good idea at the moment. We need to flatten that curve, guys. Yeah, so I think most people are being sensible and kind of doing their little exercise around the block or whatever, and not congregating in the parks or the lovely spaces that we have here. I think a lot of them are starting to be shut off anyway, which is no bad thing. Yeah, but we are doing okay. We seem to be occupying different times of the day. If you've got young adults at home, so my two are 19, and my husband and I, we tend to get up about 6-7 o'clock in the morning, go to bed about 9-10 o'clock at night. They seem to get up about 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon, go to bed around 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It's really weird. I mean, when they first came home, we tried to kind of enforce that, no, come on, up in the morning. But for what? For why? Is there any point, really? They're doing their uni work, they're ticking along. They are talking to their friends on the several and various social platforms. They're fine. So why? There's no point, I don't think, in trying desperately to get them up and out. As long as they're keeping on top of their uni work in the times that they are up, and they are pleasing themselves. It's weird, I cooked dinner the other day and called them down for dinner about 6 o'clock in the evening, and they were like, seriously mum, we just had breakfast. So it's like, oh my goodness. So it's weird, although we are a full house, because we occupy different times of the day, it doesn't seem too bad. So, and bless them, you know, if they come to bed at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, they're not crashing around the house. And the deal is then that we kind of keep it quiet-ish in the morning whilst we're working or whatever. So yeah, it works out well, and it's working. That's the best thing. It's working and we're surviving. Yeah, so that's the home life. What else? Still concerning about obviously the stresses of the NHS, and if you are an NHS worker, again, thank you so much. If you are a frontline worker of keeping busy in the supermarkets or the mail office or the refuse collection or any of those absolutely vital services that keep everything ticking along, thank you very much. I said this last week, and I still hold by the same. I am very lucky that I am able to stay home and work and try and keep myself and my family safe. I know we're all doing our bit by staying home, but I still feel for those people that are having to go out, and it must be incredibly scary and stressful when everybody else is being forced or told to stay at home and you have to go out to work. So thank you. If you're one of those people, thank you very much. And what else in terms of hobbies and trying to keep productive? Just do what you can, isn't it? This is not the time. Some people are finding great productivity in these weeks, but if you are not, that is okay. Like, you don't need to hear it's okay from me. You just need to tell yourself that's okay. Just do what you can day to day, and hopefully soon we will see the beginnings of the end of this awful time, and maybe we'll reassess how we feel about the world and what we need from each other and what we need from the people around us and the world around us. I know in the arts there's been lots of conversations about, right, because obviously theatres have closed down, nobody's filming anything, nobody's rehearsing anything in those physically collaborative moments and workshops and rehearsal rooms. So yeah, how does the arts reinvent itself, the other side of this? And I saw a post on Facebook the other day. I've gone on a real tangent, but hey, if there's anybody still listening, about saying, you know, now we understand who the key workers are in our communities, and I absolutely agree. But on there was also actors, and I'm sure people are watching box sets and watching some of these amazing live streamed theatre shows and things like that. So I think everybody has their place, has their service to the community, to the world. Everybody has their place, don't they? It's just kind of judging who are the people that we give our full attention and funding to, and of course the NHS, in my view, is absolutely one of those. Yeah, so it's been a real weird one that everybody are opening up conversations about how we look at the world around us and what we need, what we want, what we should have, and who we should be helping. We should try and make things a little bit more inclusive and helpful to every strata of the society. We will have a collective responsibility, I think. Anyway, tangent over, semi-rant over. But yeah, in those moments it's nice to kind of step back and have a little think about that. And what is great is that people are rediscovering, people like us, we know, but people are rediscovering those arts and craftsy things. Making stuff, baking stuff is really helpful. It is very helpful for mindfulness, and it's very helpful as a group activity, especially with young kids. Although my daughter actually has kind of got out her paints again. She hasn't painted for years, but she's kind of started to paint again, which is really lovely. Yeah, being bored is no bad thing. My mother used to say that to me, and I absolutely agree now. It's no bad thing being bored. Maybe we're at our most creative when we are bored. So yeah, and on that note, I will stop talking at you. Thank you so much for dropping by and spending some time with me. Sorry if it's been a bit of a blathery, non-productive podcast, but there we go. Please, please, please keep yourselves well and safe, physically, mentally. Do what you need to do simply to get through this day, and don't feel bad about it, I would say. If you haven't finished that project, or you've only managed a couple of rows, or all you can do is lie in bed and breathe for a little bit, that is also fine, in my opinion. Like you need me to say that's okay. But if you do need me to say that's okay, that's okay. Anyway, that's all a bit of a tangent. I could have gone on and on. I clearly need people to speak to. But yes, keep yourselves well and safe, and I will see you in a week's time, hopefully. Take care of yourselves. Thanks for coming along. Diolch. Hwyl fawr pawb. Bye.